The teenager in front of him was just a rookie who had just created an account. But it's so powerful that it's easy. Slaughtered a king-level demon beast. He didn't stop there. He silently killed the 2 seniors who had mentored him. If I ever trust anyone again in this life, I'm a dog. It turned out that 5 years ago, a game called Warlord had landed on Earth. Although it was a virtual game, the items within had extremely high value in the real world. And Herkin, real name Jaehyun, was one of those who yearned to change his life through the virtual world. In just 5 years, he had become a hero, a slayer. A title only the strongest players could obtain. After that, he established a guild called Haho Mask. But now, his teammates had been captured by an old generation guild. If he didn't show up, they would kill everyone. Although the story was quite far-fetched, because he was a guild leader, Herkin still had to step up to resolve this. With a single strike, he easily beheaded the big guy in front of him. No matter how many of them there were, he could easily kill them all. You think ganging up on me will make a difference? You're still not enough. At this time, his teammates spoke up from behind. They blamed themselves for involving him too much. How could a guild leader blame such insignificant things? He not only didn't scold them, but gently comforted them. I'm fine, everyone, get up. And actually, it's not our fault, those pathetic losers, those who can't even fight fairly. Right, losers. Having said that, Herkin looked at the hateful woman behind him. She was initially quite angry, but then her expression changed instantly. She laughed and said, touching. But what's the point of friendship? I mean, trash piled together can only create a mountain of trash. He sneered, unceremoniously taunting her back. The one who's been beaten up, yet acts so high and mighty. She didn't hesitate to reply, you should be careful what you say, or I'll make you cry and regret it. Jaehyun activated the watch on his wrist, raising an eyebrow at her, regret, then he activated a slot. His whole body began to change. His weapons and equipment were upgraded. Now, he became even more imposing and powerful. He raised his sword towards Sil, saying, regret is only for the weak like you. Insulted, Sil became furious, you insolent bastard, kill him. He shrugged, again, haven't you learned anything? You guys will never be able to kill me. But before he could finish, a sharp pain appeared in his chest. The pain became increasingly intense, immobilizing him. What the? Coughing up a mouthful of blood, he then realized that his body had been pierced by a sword. The system sounds, HP drops rapidly, movement is limited. He collapsed to the ground after the vicious blow just now, his mouth hesitant. He couldn't believe what had just happened. What the hell? Your guys spoke up now. I'm sorry Jaehyun. But we have to make a living, you know, don't take it to heart. His body returned to normal. He looked at them, bitterness seeping into every word he uttered. What? Sil clutched her stomach and laughed heartily, her glee evident on her face. She wiped away tears from laughing too hard. Stepping towards him, she looked down and said with a triumphant tone, pathetic, you actually believed in their friendship, as if friendship means anything in the face of money. Herkin, I kick you out of this game. If every time you enter the game I kill you, then you won't even be able to, right? Well, I heard you're a full-time God of War player, and without this game you're just trash. She looked directly into Herkin's eyes, her gaze smug and mocking. Too bad, looks like you're back to being a nobody. Jaehyun clenched his fists, scratched lines on the ground, and had difficulty opening his mouth. Shut up, and then he rushed towards her. A stream of hot blood erupted. His angry eyes seemed to stop in this pause. She exclaimed, oh, my God. Doyeon's hand hadn't even reached Sil when his own men intercepted him with several more stabs. She spoke calmly, thanks, everyone. He looked at them, his voice weak and questioning, what are you people? This meeting is all mine and yet they interrupted you, Jaehyun. Die and go, they paid us several million just to kill you, what are you waiting for? He pursed his lips, feeling extremely annoyed and also a little resentful. That's it, after all I've done for you. You guys say we're family, damn it, a series of red seals rang out. The notification system warns you that you have died. The penalty is a 48-hour login ban. He sat bolt upright, gasping for breath after logging out of the game. He clutched his head and screamed, I've lost everything. The game he is playing is God of War, a game that has stirred up the world, a super profitable AI-oriented VR game. The only thing that keeps me from being trash. I remember the first time I met them. What level were you? You are amazing. When he raised his hand with a kind smile, "Do you want to join me?" His only place, even now, his body trembled, he couldn't accept the truth, couldn't forgive them. Thinking so, he put on his windbreaker. "Run quickly on the crowded street, I will find and kill them myself. Do they know what I've been through? Do they think they can continue without me?" He was on the phone while walking and didn't notice the pedestrian light turn red. A large truck was speeding towards him, but Jaehyun was lost in his thoughts. Damn it, if only I had known. The headlights shone on his tear-streaked face, but his mind was still filled with regret. I wasted my time caring about anyone. And so the other car couldn't brake in time. A loud noise rang out due to the impact. Jaehyun lay on the ground, bleeding profusely. Shocked passers-by screamed, "He's been hit." He swore, "Damn it, of all things, I get hit by a garbage truck." His phone rang with a notification, "The person you are calling cannot be reached at this time." He gasped, his heart filled with resentment. No, I can't die here, not yet. That damn traitor, remembering his face, dead, they paid us millions just to kill him, what else did you expect? It enraged him further. He remembered the face of Sil, the girl who played with him. My hatred reaches its extreme, I must take revenge on them. Suddenly the system sounded, connecting. A bright light appeared. The system sound still rings steadily, identifying the user. Username Herkin. Welcome to completing the tutorial. Surviving the Minotaur. Master of the Labyrinth War God. He opened his eyes to the sight before him, his jaw dropped in astonishment. And what's this tutorial? A voice rang out, "Hey, noob." Someone turned towards him, their voice slightly impatient. "Snap out of it and focus, you saw the warning, right? We have to take it down together." The creature lunged at them while they were distracted. He continued, "That monster is impossible to solo, looks like we need the three of us to beat it, why don't you tank for us?" Jaehyun said blankly, "Wait, Minotaur, you mean the tutorial boss, but it was removed from the game 5 years ago because it was too difficult." The other person looked at him with incomprehension. 5 years ago? What, War God only launched 10 months ago. He muttered the words to himself, making sure he hadn't misheard. 10 months. So that's it, 10 months, huh? They looked at him with puzzled expressions. What's wrong with this guy? The other player said, "Forget him, let's focus, when I give the signal, you." Seeing him walk forward, they asked, "Hey, where are you going?" Ignoring them, he charged forward. The two were startled. "Hey, are you crazy?" They called out louder, "Hey, you're going to die," but ignoring their warnings, he didn't stop. His sharp eyes flashed with a cruel light. With a single slash of his sword across the monster, it roared once and collapsed where it stood. They couldn't believe their eyes, their voices stammering, "What the hell?" He took it down in one move. The two looked at each other, smiling knowingly. One of them called out, "Hey, you. You have skills, don't you? I don't say this often, but want to join my guild?" A familiar image flashed in his mind as he saw the other person extend their hand, making him think he was experiencing déjà vu. His eyes showed a hint of fear, but more so, an obsession and hatred filled the corners of his eyes. He swayed, stood up, and said, "I've just made up my mind." The other person thought he agreed, their voice filled with excitement about. Jaehyun sheathed his sword. Gritting his teeth, uttered each word, "If I still trust anyone in this world, then I'm a dog." Herkin, the hero killer, returning. Jaehyun sat up after the battle. Noticing that the surroundings weren't the street where he'd just died, he wondered where he was. The V-Gear store. He understood, oh, right, 5 years ago, I couldn't even afford my own equipment, I had to play using a display unit here. So that means I really did go back in time. If so, I can't waste a single second. Thinking that, he quickly opened the helmet of the unit, and quickly ran out of there. He had an idea, he had knowledge of the future and all the skills he'd accumulated. And if I use them correctly, I can take revenge. He handed the clerk his card, urgently saying, "Give me a standard V-Gear set." The clerk was slightly stunned by his attitude, but still responded professionally, "Okay, processing your payment." He was overjoyed. "Now, where do I start?" "First, I'll grind some levels, sir." The clerk's repeated calls pulled him from his thoughts. She said hesitantly, "It says there's insufficient funds." Hearing that, Jaehyun froze. He sighed inwardly, lamenting, cursing his own stupidity, for he now realized, right, if I had money, why would I be playing in this place? He scratched his head, not knowing what to do. what now? Should I go make money first? No, that would take too long. A loud noise rang out, startling him. What else are you waiting for? The sound from the screen continued, the strongest never fear challenges, hesitation is a luxury on the battlefield. Become a warlord, exclusive model for the first-class warlord, Syl the Queen. Start the warlord experience now. He gazed at the screen thoughtfully, recalling her face from that time. So, you've returned as a useless person, huh? Yeah. Then he turned away. I don't have the right to be picky. By now, it was late at night. Someone brought the V-gear. The technician, taking out his tools, said, the V-gear is installed and ready to use, then I'll be going. He turned to leave. Jaehyun replied, okay. He stared at the paper in his hand, thinking about the only way to get money. Quick loan today, special loan for warlord gamers, 24/7 consultation, guaranteed lowest interest rate, this is it. Did the contract signer meet you for 10 million won earlier? Of course, we're happy to lend you that amount. But before he could pick up the card, a gleaming knife plunged down into the gap between his fingers. He said with veiled threat, if you can't pay us back, your life will be truly miserable. He swallowed nervously. Ignoring his fear, he crumpled the paper, thinking it didn't matter. Even if he had to go through hell, he put the device on his head, lay down in the V-gear and waited for it to connect. Recalling their faces, he gritted his teeth, thinking, as long as I can crush those bastards' faces. He activated the login. The system voice sounded again, verifying user. Herkin confirmed, welcome back to Warlord. Looking around, Jaehyun felt a pang of nostalgia. It's been a long time since I've been here, it's almost time for her to appear. What's her name again? Ari, I think, the system announced. Congratulations, you have completed the tutorial. A person with blonde hair introduced herself, I'm Ariadne, here to guide you in choosing your profession. Seeing her, he nodded slightly, yeah, her. She cast a spell, now, adventurer. You must choose your basic profession. There are 3 options available. The skills you develop in your basic profession will determine your advanced class later. Warrior, a frontline fighter using melee weapons in fierce battles. If you like action-packed battles, this is the profession for you. Jaehyun pondered, warrior, I played this class before, so I'll probably level up quickly, but it'll be a bit difficult to play solo later. Thinking this, he said to her, skip that. She continued, priest, a support profession specializing in healing and boosting allies' strength, but Jaehyun shook his head and skipped it. I'm not wasting my time supporting others, Ariadne said, then there's only one option left. Clasping her hands, she smiled and said, have a fun journey. A beam of light enveloped Jaehyun. The system voice sounded, you have chosen your basic profession. Transferring to your profession tower. The man seated high above greeted him, welcome, oh, young seeker of knowledge. He introduced himself, I am Golko, your guide on the path of magic, NPC profession, Mage Golko. So, tell me, what kind of magic do you want to learn? Ask freely. Jaehyun interrupted him, dark magic. He froze for a few seconds, and the two just stared at each other. Golko tried to salvage the situation, you mean ancient magic, right? My apologies, my hearing isn't as good as it used to be. Jaehyun shook his head, no, I said dark magic. He anxiously exclaimed, where did you hear about that? Dark magic is powerful, yes, but it will consume the user's soul. Jaehyun calmly replied, I know. I came here fully aware of that, so teach me, it has to be dark magic. He thought to himself, because what I want is, his voice trembled in disbelief, but perhaps. He tore off his skin, revealing a terrifying form, he said, then we can begin immediately. Seeing this, Jaehyun thought with satisfaction, this is exactly it. He said, it's been a long time since I saw a young man choose this path. If you're really prepared, then put your hands on that skill book. But be warned. This path is too treacherous for the faint of heart. Jaehyun firmly placed his hand on the book. He raised an eyebrow at the old man, just start already, sorry to be blunt, but I'm far from weak. The old man laughed heartily, contentedly saying, finally, someone interesting has appeared. A dark aura enveloped him. He recalled a legendary video from his past life, a necromancer player, single-handedly defeating the raid boss. Right now, that's the power I need. You have successfully become a necromancer. The system voice echoed again, current title, Novice Necromancer, you have received the bone-splitting skill. He smiled, bone-splitting. It seemed. He had already felt that surge of power. The system continued to announce, a bone soldier imbued with magical power began to materialize. Looking ahead, Jaehyun happily thought. This time, I'll play all out as a necromancer. He said, alright, it's time to level up, the training dungeon must be. Before Jaehyun could finish his sentence, the skull of the skeleton in front of him fell off, rolling wildly. 3 question marks appeared on his head. He was speechless. Wait, what just happened? A portal appeared, and a body gradually became visible through it. Jaehyun rubbed his head, sighed, and heard the system's voice, you have entered the beginner's training dungeon. Recalling the awkward scene just now, he helplessly thought, the bone soldiers I saw in my past life weren't this fragile. I don't understand. Show skills. Following his command, a data sheet appeared before his eyes. Bone-splitting proficiency F, unit summonable, 1 warrior, ability, creates a bone shard, by channeling mana into it, you can summon a bone soldier. Could it be because my proficiency is still low, I need to level up quickly? A growl from behind startled him. Feeling fortunate, just then, the announcement sounded, training monster, ash wolves. He smiled cheerfully, ash wolves aren't strong, but they're fast. They're the perfect target to test my combat abilities. He summoned a bone soldier and then cast a spell, ordering the bone soldier to kill them. The skull emitted a blue light that flew towards the opponent. The system's voice echoed again, your bone soldier has detected an enemy and has entered an attack stance. The bone shard roared angrily. The ash wolves, somewhat wary, retreated. He ordered, kill them. The bone soldier's eyes also flashed, and it charged towards the wolves. Jaehyun smugly thought, wait, it's working better than I expected. With this pack, I'll reach the highest level soon. But the bone soldier shattered into pieces. Jaehyun was stunned by what he had just witnessed. The skull tumbling from the air, and landing at Jaehyun's feet, he could even sense frustration in its empty eye sockets. He thought, wow, this is something else. He exclaimed, hold on, something's wrong, what's going on? Show skills. The stats sheet appeared. Bone-splitting proficiency F, unit summonable, 1 warrior, ability, creates a bone shard, by channeling mana into it, you can summon a bone soldier. Additional information, summoning uses a learning command system to improve combat capabilities. Default behavior modes can be set, 1, defensive mode, 2, offensive mode, 3, special action mode. He ruffled his hair and groaned softly. It seemed he had forgotten to set its mode. Thank God. Set up mode 1, defense. The core also followed orders. But quickly, everything happened the same way. Jaehyun kept reassuring himself, but he didn't believe it, so, did he accidentally signal mode 3, special action? Contrary to his expectations, the notification stunned him, your skeleton soldier is enthusiastically dancing. Tears streamed down his face. Jaehyun froze, completely stiff. Golko said, I tried to warn you, kid. It was a nightmare. He repeatedly requested the system, only to receive a message that character deletion was unavailable. Newly created accounts cannot delete characters within 3 months. You are really helpless. He defeated all the monsters while the skeleton was still immersed in the disco without an outro. Jaehyun whined, I can't delete my account, I can't change my profession, and I'll start paying off the loan next month, so maybe I should get hit by a truck again. Why wasn't anything going his way? It always went wrong just when he felt he'd finally accomplished something. This useless nonsense too. He looked at the skeleton, letting out a long sigh. He said irritably, please, just stand still, you're stressing me out even more. How did that necromancer I saw in my past life manage this stuff? Suddenly, he noticed the report. Summon uses a command system to improve combat ability. Default behavior modes can be set, 1, defense mode, 2, attack mode, 3, special action mode. Summon uses a command system to improve combat ability. He patiently read each line. Improve combat ability. Earlier, when he was killing the coal wolves, this skeleton soldier had observed and learned. The skeleton quickly grasped his techniques. He smiled in satisfaction. Jaehyun called it this. He gave it a piece of wood, saying somewhat smugly, you're lucky to have me as your master. You don't look like it, but I used to be called a genius. You know, I trained my entire guild and turned them into top rankers. In combat, you only need to remember one thing. If you dodge, you'll die. As he spoke, he charged towards it. A loud thud echoed. It didn't dodge in time, flying far away, he shouted. Again. Again and again, a series of continuous attacks made the skeleton, even while focusing its best, but still get knocked away. And the wall in front of it. He said sternly, don't just stand there stupidly when you're attacked, first dodge, then counterattack when you see an opening, understand? The skeleton, motivated by his words, didn't give up. Stood up straight. The stick charged towards the wolves, incredibly brave and courageous. As the monster attacked, the skeleton quickly dodged, landing a blow on its snout. The stick in the skeleton's hand moved with incredible speed, leaving afterimages. The two wolves were thus defeated. The skeleton panted and looked towards Jaehyun, his eyes shining like stars, waiting for him to praise, but contrary to its expectations, he coldly reminded, "Where are you looking? I told you, don't be negligent in fighting." Finally, under that gaze, he softened, smiling and saying, "Still, your last move wasn't bad." The constant sound of notifications made him extremely satisfied. Sub-score proficiency has increased, sub-segment proficiency has increased, sub-segment proficiency has increased. The player has leveled up, Jaehyun praised him, good job. At this time, in the Phi newbie village, the welcoming sound was bustling throughout the entire area. The Friendly Association is recruiting new members recently, please join our congregation. Anyone want to join us in the Forest Spider Raid? Jaehyun walked and thought, the Bone Soldier learns really quickly, with just a few more days of training, it will be able to conquer the dungeon on its own. Now things are getting urgent. First, I need to reach level 10, then. Suddenly a force pulled him back with a sour voice, if you bump into someone else, you have to apologize, right? A guy with long hair looked at him contemptuously, his accomplices were also in a commotion. That's right, Big Brother Jaehyun thought to himself, who are these B-class villains? He sighed softly, wondering, I don't have time for this, should I just kill them and move on? Seeing his attitude, the big guy angrily raised his fist towards Jaehyun without arguing, you dare sigh while I'm talking to you. The punch was about to land on Jaehyun's face, when a player with blonde hair stopped it in time. He calmly opened his glasses, his voice a bit joking, don't go around punching and kicking people like that, bro. The other guy shouted loudly, who the hell are you? Are you with this guy or something? He mockingly drawled out, not really. But Jaehyun didn't hear the conversation, he was too stunned by the person in front of him. Wait, this guy is. That physique. The strange clothes left no doubt, he was. Matador Shev, the top-ranked legendary warrior from his past life. What's he doing here? Jaehyun stammered, wait. The leader spat on the ground with disdain. He stretched, his voice aggressive, old man, if you don't know what's going on, get lost, that brat hit me first, got it. Have you never heard the saying an eye for an eye? The blonde-haired man rubbed his head and smiled wryly, is that so? Then, a tremendous surge of power erupted from him. The flames shocked the leader. Jaehyun also frowned at the force. He continued, smiling, but in a chilling way, so, you punched my palm. So I should punch you back, right? His subordinate shouted, boss, that guy, that's Matador Shev. The leader of the Crimson Bulls, one of the top 30 guilds, the ruthless battle-hungry assassin, Matador Shev. The leader was horrified, what, how? Before he could finish, a voice interrupted, so. What's your answer? Hands on his shoulders made the leader jump. He froze, momentarily paralyzed. Without hesitation, he chose flight. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Matador smiled brightly, glad we could resolve this peacefully. The NPCs around them looked bewildered, peaceful. He turned to Jaehyun and put a hand on his shoulder, hey, you okay, don't worry about those thugs. But Jaehyun dodged the touch. Jaehyun said, you don't need to help me next time. The figure walked away, not giving him a chance to finish. The awkward scratching of his head, so cold. Jaehyun ran, thinking, damn it. For a moment, I was completely overwhelmed by his power. Next time I see him, I swear I won't be the same. The flickering flame illuminated a dark space. Hidden away, Jaehyun pondered, the difference in power between us is too clear. But Sil and Shev are equals, that means to get revenge, I have to be as strong as them. Suddenly, a monster charged at him. But before it could act, his skeletal warrior intervened. One blow, and it was down. The system announced, your skeletal warrior has defeated a fire tiger and leveled up. He said, slightly disappointed, 3 days to reach level 10, longer than I thought. The skeletal warrior seemed disheartened, it had tried its best. The system announced, congratulations, you have reached level 10. No more monsters will appear in the training dungeon, your newbie mark has been removed, processing rewards. Jaehyun was happy, finally. An item appeared in his hand, a war eye, an essential gaming device with features like stats, quests, map, inventory, and messages. He felt nostalgic, it had been a long time since he wore this. Jaehyun activated the status display. His stats appeared, status, Herkin, level 10, Necromancer, Title 1, stats, Strength 3, Vitality 3, Intelligence 5, Magic 5, Jaehyun sighed, too bad my stats were reset. The system said, distribute your stat points, the stats on the war eye showed, remaining points, 50, Strength 3, Vitality 3, Intelligence 5, Magic 5. Jaehyun pondered, it was his first time distributing stats, he had to be careful. As a necromancer, the obvious choice was to increase intelligence or magic, vitality, intelligence, magic. But he decided to put all the points into strength. System pops up, strength plus 50. Total power 50, feeling the abundant spiritual energy, Jaehyun gently cleared his throat in satisfaction. The core looked at him with a horrified expression. It sobbed, covering Jaehyun's face, not understanding, questioning, what's wrong with you? Then, as if understanding, Jaehyun knocked hard on his calcium-filled head, saying, I won't give up on necromancy, understand, I'm doing this to teach you. Increasing intelligence or magic won't change much now, but by investing in strength, I can teach you all the techniques I mastered at my peak. The core's eyes filled with hope as it looked at him. Jaehyun said, I'm really betting my life on you learning this. Anyway, just focus on training, I'll take care of the rest. And there's another way to compensate for those stats. At the Monster Hunting Guild, Figus Castle Branch. The broker's voice rang out, new quests have just arrived, everyone. Several players fiercely competed, get out of the way, that's mine, dream on, I've been waiting since yesterday. Jaehyun sighed, quests around this level are boring every year, yet these guys are so enthusiastic, they must be newbies. He approached the counter and said, I want to accept a quest, can I see the list? Though a little surprised, the old man said go ahead, but all that remained were quests nobody wanted, either too difficult, or the rewards were terrible. You're brave, aren't you? He agreed with the old man, yeah, most of these are really boring. He chuckled, I know better. Then my trump card, he picked up a card and exclaimed, found it. It's the Baima Mountain Cave, objective, hunt monsters near Baima Mountain, reward, 10 gold. Jaehyun thought this was a basic hunting quest for low-level monsters. The old man said, are you sure you want to accept that quest? Just so you know, the reward is only 10 gold. Jaehyun nodded, yes, the system sounded, quest updated. Looking at the stat sheet, Jaehyun thought to himself, on the surface it seems like a trivial quest, but if I complete it before level 15, Rising Star, I can get an extremely rare title. You ask what's so great about a title? Titles give you extra stats, a blind mage scorned by a charcoal wolf, apprentice alchemist, magic +1, magic +2, intelligence +1. A rising star title, 3% intelligence, 3% magic, it increases stats by percentage, honey. In other words, this is the first step to becoming an overpowered game character. Jaehyun turned and walked out of the shop, saying, alright. It's time for equipment. At Mount Baima, Jaehyun looked at the scenery with utmost seriousness and assessed the situation. His attire looked incredibly unique and novel. Standing under a tree, Jaehyun hung his head, after spending all his money on equipment for his skeleton. Damn it, Jaehyun had bought durable armor but didn't have enough money. He thought he had just grabbed whatever he could afford, now he looks like a freak. Very quickly, Jaehyun had no way out, he pulled himself together, complaining was useless, he only had to rush this quest and buy decent clothes. He ran quickly forward, the fastest clear ever, here I come. In a bush deep in the forest, a large, bloody hand lunged towards them. A heavily wounded man tried to shout, help, someone. Please help, but was pulled back into the bushes. By a group of mysterious people in black. Light filtered through the trees, finally, at Mount Baima. He burst into excited laughter, Maltese grand adventure begins, let's see what kind of monsters are here. Grinning, Revealing his bright white teeth, Multi proudly declared, already level 11, I'm pretty good at this game. What if I become a ranker in record time? What should I do? Suddenly a shout came, help. Behind the bush, a young man lay unconscious, his body covered in blood. Please, my friend is injured, someone help. Multi curiously ran over, he was a little surprised. What? Multi asked. What happened? The man shouted, sobbing, a monster suddenly appeared and attacked us. Seeing the unconscious young man on the ground, plus the sigh of the man who had just called for help, we barely escaped, but we've run out of medicine. Multi quickly scrolled through his equipment information watch. I have healing potions, just a moment, he replied, thank you. He spoke emotionally, thank you very much, we really owe you a great debt. While Multi was diligently searching for healing potions, a large shadow appeared behind him. He swung his club. Blood splattered everywhere. Multi, his head covered in blood, his whole body convulsing, looked at them weakly. The one who had just finished Multi said arrogantly, thank you again. All three looked down at the model with a mocking attitude. We will definitely use your stuff well. Multi's voice was weak but contained resentment. You tricked me, you evil people. He continued to beat Multi. Come on, are you really blaming us? You walked right into this trap yourself. System announcement, player Multi has died, his body is gradually disappearing. System notification, the deceased player's body has been removed by the system, the arm disappeared, leaving only the watch on the wrist. The three of them chatted about what had just happened. Beating up that idiot was so easy, did you see his face, you villains? His hands were covered in watches from unfortunate victims, his eyes revealing a thirst for murder. Let's find the next victim. They were the infamous Ralph family of murderers. Kotbin, armed with his sword, faced 7 ferocious wolves. The wolves furiously charged at Kotbin. Herkin snapped his fingers, giving the order to switch to attack mode. Kotbin swung his sword wildly. And in a few minutes, the wolves were reduced to scraps of meat. System announcement, your Kotbin has defeated an ancient wolf, experience plus 375, your Kotbin has defeated an ancient wolf. Herkin didn't expect that after buying him a sword, he could now take on a whole pack of ancient wolves. He smiled contentedly, knowing he'd made the right decision prioritizing Kotbin as equipment. Herkin was moved to tears. A true gamer prioritizes stats over looks. Kotbin, seeing Herkin cry, was unexpectedly moved as well. My poor master, he thought, then felt annoyed by Kotbin's emotional expression. Why are you looking at me like that? Herkin turned and hastily left. Whatever, let's go, we need to level up quickly so I can get out of this awful outfit. Kotbin, sword in hand, hurried after Herkin. Suddenly, a light appeared in the sky, approaching them. Something struck Kotbin in the head, causing him sudden pain. Herkin was startled. An arrow emerged from the forest. I'm sorry. The three from earlier pretended to feel guilty. I saw you from afar and thought you were a monster. He looked pitiful. I'm so sorry, Herkin calmly replied. No. His wrist was covered in blood. His weapon stained with blood. Herkin had observed everything, these guys. He offered a fake smile. It's fine, but I'd be grateful for a mana potion. Kotbin, beside him, displeased, snapped the arrow. He replied, oh no, we don't have any potions. How about we help you level up? Your mana will automatically recover after leveling. Herkin played along. Really, that makes sense. He remained friendly. Well, it was our fault, so we're happy to help. Seeing monsters approaching, he became even more excited. Perfect timing, the monsters are here. The three turned their backs to him. We'll weaken it, and you can land the final blow. Herkin agreed. Okay. One of them charged forward, instructing his teammates. Everyone knows the plan, right? Of course. He reiterated the plan. First, we'll lure the monster with all our might. One of them will stand before the monster, then I'll launch an attack. After attacking the monster, we'll accidentally let it escape towards the victim. The ferocious monster will excitedly run towards Herkin. They were confident that the poor fool would panic. Herkin won't fight the monster. Next, that's when we. All three smiled wickedly, anticipating what would happen. But their faces suddenly turned to shock. Herkin over there already got the monster without much effort. That was close. Next time, be quicker. He and Kotbin looked at them with enthusiasm. All right, next, how is his summoning so strong? The plan failed, his level must be higher than they thought, so. He silently calculated, acting while planning. will push a horde of monsters towards him, quickly running behind him, and while he's distracted, he triumphantly raised his weapon, will take down the summoner. He struck at Hirken's head, but failed. He gaped in surprise. What? He dodged. Hirken coldly turned, swiftly slashing him. Seeing their comrades fall at Hirken's hands, both of them panicked. What? He ordered. The bone soldier silently snapped his fingers to signal. The bone soldier turned. Both charged with their swords. They were too scared to speak, waiting to speak. Not giving them a chance to explain, the first strike began. At the same time, the other one also tasted the blade. They were slashed by Hirken and the bone soldier, the force so strong that both of them cried out. Motionless, falling to the ground, Hirken said triumphantly, I know your kind too well. He stepped closer to them, the kind that gains others' trust only to stab them in the back and steal their belongings. Seeing him weakly lying on the ground, I must have been tricked back then. He screamed in fear, wait, take my stuff, I'm sorry, please don't, but Hirken's heart, unfortunately, raised his sword high. I don't trust people anymore. He was completely dead. System announcement, player Ralph has died, 8 unclaimed watches dropped. Hirken was a little surprised, these 8 guys were clearly scoundrels. His eyes turned greedy, I should put these to good use, first find some wearable clothes. The bone soldier was also tormenting the other one. The bone soldier's face was covered in blood, he looked at them with hungry eyes. Hirken didn't notice. Bone soldier, what do you want me to give you? Transferring will and life to the bone soldier. The bone soldier's eyes gradually gained life. Full of excitement, raising the sword Hirken gave him, all right. Happily humming with the newly equipped outfit, you like it, huh? He carefully explained to the bone soldier, appearance doesn't matter when you're my subordinate. Hirken started to dance around, what matters is your loyalty. He smiled brightly at the bone soldier, follow me, and one day you'll achieve great glory, now let's see what we got. Hirken explained, by selling another player's ring, a random item from their inventory will drop, then we can choose the item we want. Acquired rare black goblin soldier, 5 mana, 5 intelligence. Next, obtained rare ancient essence, 10 mana. Finally, obtained the devil's curse skill book. Hirken excitedly shouted, and more money than now, that's the real jackpot. Showing off the newly crafted item, remember, it's because of that money-making method that I could make this. The mask was completed faster than I expected. He eagerly said that he would record his gameplay from now on and build a good reputation for an important purpose. Suddenly, a voice rang out in his head, I told you, building a good reputation is important. Which made Hirken startled. He excitedly told that person, everyone in the guild will wear a haho mask, that will make us famous. He complied with Hirken, okay, then let's name our guild haho mask. He looked at that person with emotion. And in Hirken's thoughts, he even considered having a new identity, intently looking at the mask in his hand, but however, he started to continue finishing the mask. The mask gradually changed, becoming more terrifying. Hirken thought to himself that he didn't want others stealing his stuff anymore, he would use this. Grinding his teeth, determined to prove he was right. Putting on the newly crafted mask, let's go, bone soldier. Stepping out of the forest, both stood before the divine gate. They went through together, the system announced, you have entered the Bima Mountain dungeon. Entering inside, looking around, I think werewolves will appear in this dungeon. Smiling confidently, this isn't an easy dungeon, but now that I have good items, it'll be easier, I'm aiming for a 10-minute run. He excitedly ran forward, let's go. And so, a few hours later. Hirken's shocked face, why? He yelled helplessly, why aren't there any monsters? Grabbing his head in frustration, this is insane, there should have been an announcement if someone already cleared this dungeon, is there a bug? The bone soldier is continuously scratching something, what the hell are you doing? Hirken looked over in surprise, wait. Move closer to what the bone soldier just found, let's see. Inside was a different eerie space with various dark auras. The system announced you've discovered an instant dungeon stage, do you want to enter? Hirken helplessly said, no wonder there were no monsters. To elaborate on this quest, instant dungeons are one-time dungeons that appear randomly in dungeons. When they appear, normal dungeons will be inactive until this dungeon is cleared. In terms of difficulty, they are harder than normal dungeons, but ultimately offer better rewards. One thing to note, the problem is Hirken became focused, you either clear this dungeon or die in it. Herkin turned to leave, honestly saying, I think we should give up. I won't be able to play for 2 days. If I die here, it'd be better for me to quit and do another quest. Turned to look at the quest, but the system announced you've joined the stage. Led the bone soldier inside. I just need to clear it. The sudden light inside blinded Herkin, who covered his eyes. Before them was a classic arena, only the two of them inside. He was a little apprehensive. This is an arena, a little scary. I wonder what will appear. Hearing a loud noise from the arena, Herkin. A large, ferocious werewolf stepped out hungrily. It bared its sharp teeth at the two, fallen werewolf, unknown level. Herkin was startled. Why am I in a place like this? The werewolf attacked without hesitation. Herkin nimbly dodged. The sheer power was too much for him to withstand. He was flung far away. The bone soldier, standing there, turned in surprise. It seriously held its sword, ready to charge. Smiling contentedly, Herkin slowly got up, the wall deeply indented. Why am I so lucky today? These fallen monsters are part of the main quest. Encouraging the bone soldier, hey bone soldier, if we don't kill it. His eyes became hungry, no dinner tonight. Having said that, Herkin charged at the werewolf with his sword. The bone soldier lowered its sword. The two coordinated perfectly. Herkin leaped onto the sword the bone soldier had placed. He sprang up high. The werewolf also had to look up. The werewolf roared, creating a curse. A hand cast a spell on the sword. The sword was covered in dark aura, pointing its tip at the demonic curse. The werewolf was surprised to find, firmly holding the sword, slashed across the werewolf. It screamed in pain, activating the demon curse skill, reducing the target's stats by 10. He was quite surprised. The demon curse wasn't bad for the first time using it. Because of the pain, the werewolf became enraged, its eyes becoming more ferocious. It furiously charged at Herkin. The system warned, the fallen werewolf is enraged, all negative status effects are nullified. Put the sword away. I guess it wouldn't be an instant dungeon if it were that easy. Herkin was excited. I was going to save this for later, but I guess I have to try it now. He raised the watch he had obtained and activated it. Light emanated from the watch, swirling around Herkin's body, and he gradually changed. Overwhelming power completely enveloped him. A sphere of light enveloped Herkin. The dark aura gradually dissipating, slowly approaching. New equipment was equipped on Herkin. Alright, let's do this. Herkin activated a mode. Rays of light began to appear. The game system's voice boomed, one of the unique characteristics of the God of War. Immediately afterward, the watch on his hand also emitted light, when a player uses the power-up feature. A large light source emitted, a humanoid figure appearing within it. They are temporarily empowered by the world of the God of War, representing a form of enhancement. It could be Matador Chev or Syl. This form is extremely diverse. He in his outfit begins to transform. From player to player there are always different transformations. The light radiated increasingly louder, accompanied by a loud explosion. He has transformed from before, but overall his strength has increased, which is why a lot of people call it Supreme Battle Mode. Herkin completed his transformation. Come here. The enraged werewolf howled. It lunged to attack him. It swung its right arm, full of sharp claws, at him. He dodged to the left. It attacked on the left. He dodged to the right. It furiously attacked repeatedly, but missed him. It clapped its hands together, intending to crush him, but he avoided it. The sword-wielding hand knelt on the ground. Its hand struck a rock, shattering it. He leaped to avoid its blow and landed. He wondered, as expected from a boss-level monster, its speed and strength were both immense. What if it landed on all fours? No, even on 3 legs, it could still end me. The monster charged. Herkin sneered. But he raised his sword and slashed at it, blood spraying everywhere. It roared in pain, its chest wounded. He smiled. That's what made this more fun. He glared. Right. He continued to dodge its attacks. He rubbed his head. Yes, this is the stage where I'm completely immersed in the battle. It's rare to have a battle feeling like this. He soared into the air. Looking at the monster and laughing, his eyes flashed. You haven't forgotten anything, have you? A skeleton in warrior's attire appeared, to the monster's surprise. Before it could recover, it was attacked by the skeleton, but it dodged. He shouted, Bone soldier, let's do it like we practiced. The skeleton turned to look at the werewolf. In its terror, Herkin and the bone soldier swung their swords, rushing past and attacking it from both sides, slashing it repeatedly. It screamed in agony, its body hacked to pieces. The system announced, "Ding, you have hunted the werewolf." He returned to his pre-transformation state, smiling, a significant experience gain, not bad. A flash of light, mission change. A new mission appeared, showing the image of 2 wolves, Bima Mountain Cave, subdue the monsters around Bima Mountain, reward, 10 gold. The system continued to chime, ding, showing a notification and the image of the Bone Warrior. The Bone Soldier also defeated an extremely powerful monster. The Bone Soldier's fragment skills have been upgraded to level E. Notifications about the spoils from the previous mission appeared continuously. You earned 20,865G, you received the werewolf skull, you received the werewolf's lair. He chuckled, hands on hips, as the Bone Soldier raised both hands above its head and swayed. These temporary spoils are amazing. The list of spoils continued. You received the Fallen Hunter's Necklace. The Fallen Hunter's Necklace, Unique Chronicle, increases level-related stats, all stats plus 18, untradeable. Item binding requires equipping the Fallen Hunter's gear. He said the Unique Chronicle, while untradeable, was a higher-tier item than a normal unique item. Suddenly, he paused, muttering to himself, "Wait, the Fallen Hunter, could it be?" A new notification appeared amidst his questioning. 3 new titles were updated. Notification 1, Potential Rookie, Intelligence 3, Magic 3, a potential rookie, that's what I was aiming for, he exclaimed. Notification 2, Heroic Challenger, Endurance 3, so, heroic titles are here too. Well, I did clear the temporary dungeon solo, so it makes sense. He stroked his chin. Notification 3, The Fallen Hunter. He looked intently at the Fallen Hunter. That's the first title of the first chapter of the main quest, The Fallen Count. Herkin recalled the main quest involving werewolves and the Fallen Count. That's the main storyline that forms the foundation of this game. He didn't remember the exact reward but only that it was very valuable. The reward was extraordinary. Every player wanted to participate in this quest somehow. He searched his memories from his past life. He couldn't even reach chapter 4 then, and now he's unlocked this. This isn't just luck anymore. He rejoiced, I've hit the jackpot. Log out. Dawn the next morning. Game newsletter updates. New news broadcast live. The Hydra Guild officially begins the final chapter of the Count's Fall. Our goal is to complete it within 3 months. Jaehyun sat at his computer desk, a glass of water in his left hand, his right hand controlling the mouse, following the news. His tears fell, one after another. Damn it, why am I so unlucky? He banged his head on the desk. Someone's already reached the final chapter of Count's Fall. If I jump in now, I won't get anything. Damn it, what a waste. Lying his head on the desk, eyes brimming with tears, should I abandon this quest and aim for the next one? He suddenly woke up. Wait, maybe this is an opportunity for me. He lifted his head, looking at the screen. The whole world is now focused on Count's Fall with immense enthusiasm. It's the game's first main quest, and it's about to be completed. His eyes lit up, sweat dripping, his hands constantly clicking the mouse. What if a video related to Count's Fall were broadcast now? On the screen was a live video of his previous quest. Still sitting at the computer, he imagined himself dressed in luxury, wearing gold jewelry like rings and bracelets, holding a gun that shoots money, wearing expensive sunglasses, grinning widely. The views would be enormous. He started tapping away at the keyboard. It's good that I recorded my gameplay. I'll have to edit it and upload it to YouTube quickly. Video editing is the most important. It has to be good. I can't leave that to anyone else. He smirked. Then I guess I need that person. He remembered the house with a kitchen filled with cups of instant noodles stacked up, the person who was called a video editing genius in his previous life. The phone had a message. A hand grabbed it. A girl with loose pink hair, thick glasses, a headphone in her ears, her left hand picking up noodles to put in her mouth, her right hand holding the phone to read messages from filmmaker Ramani. She read the newly arrived message, a request to edit a video of clearing the Herkin dungeon, level 15. As she read, she wondered, how could someone at level 15 create a video of clearing a dungeon? It must be some rich newbies wanting to show off on social media. Suddenly, she flinched, looking again. She jumped up from her chair. Her voice trembling, I found it. Her eyes widened and shone, my muse, Romani, freelance video editor, nickname Crazy Miner. Night fell, skyscrapers lit up one after another, illuminating the city. In a room overlooking the city, an elegantly dressed girl stood, holding a tablet, reading news and calling her assistant. A young man in glasses hurried over. "You called for me," she continued. "A video related to Count's fall has been uploaded." She showed him the news on the tablet. "It's quite interesting, a level 15 player who single-handedly fought the fallen werewolf." He nervously held the tablet. "That's the video." He adjusted his glasses and smirked. "My team checked it, but the fallen werewolf's level is low, so we don't need to pay attention to it." "I like it," she said. She smiled. "I want that person." She propped her chin on her hand. "Bring that person to me." She is Chai Seol-yin, #1 in the dungeon business world. She has another name. Her nickname in Warlords is Thunder Queen Syl.